it, hit it.
Hello there friends, and welcome back to the Marley Bird YouTube channel and video 5 of the Crochet Christmas Stocking Mystery Make-Along. By this point in the Make-Along, you've completed the cuff and the leg of your stocking as well as the heel. And it's time to transition from the leg and the heel into the foot. This is not a very complicated task, especially with my help. If you don't have the pattern yet, please go and grab that pattern. I've provided a link in the video description box right down there below. That will take you to the blog post with all the details regarding the mystery make-along, as well as a link to each section of the pattern. This is a free pattern, but if you want to purchase an ad-free PDF to support your favorite designers or just to have everything nice and tidy in one place, you can do that as well. The link to that is, wait for it, in the blog post that I have linked below. Everything you need is always in that blog post. Okay, let's go ahead, grab your homework, grab your yarn, and let's jump into the next set of instructions. This is where I left off at the end of video 4. We have all of this completed, and it's time for us to begin working the foot of our sock. Now, if you remember, I told you to leave these stitch markers in place, and this is why I want you to do that. We're going to go back to our color D. Remember, we have 2 rows for every color change we do, and so we've only done 1 row with color D. We're going to go back to color D. We also want the right side of our fabric facing. Let me grab my color D. And we're going to slip stitch essentially in the center of your heel. So in the instructions, it tells you to put it on the 12th stitch, but you just really want to put it in the center of your heel. We're establishing the new join point for our stocking, so we want those joined rounds on the bottom of the stocking. That's why it's important to start essentially at the center of your heel. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch in the center of my heel. I'm going to join it with a slip stitch, and then I will chain 1 and turn. And by doing this, I am now getting ready to work on the wrong side of my rounds, okay? I now will continue on, and I will single crochet the number of stitches written in the pattern, or essentially, I want to single crochet over to my marker, that marker that I left in place. And we're going to use that marked stitch that we have down there to make sure we don't get a hole in between our heel and the foot of our stocking, okay? So I'm over here. This is where the join is for me. So I want to work a single crochet 2 together. And I'm going to do that in the stitch that I already worked into. It's the one that I have marked there and the next stitch over, okay? So I will go into the stitch that I left my marker in, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then go into the next stitch over, yarn over and pull up a loop. I will yarn over, draw through all 3 of those loops. So I've done a single crochet 2 together, but I'm left with 1 remaining stitch, right? So even though I worked into 2 stitches, I'm left with 1. That's perfect. That's what I want. Now I carry on working my single crochets, working around all of those stitches we left unworked on those previous sets of instructions. So this is what would be called the instep stitches, or the top of the foot. And I work around to the next marker. And by this point, you should be able to guess what we will do at that next marker, because we want to make sure we don't get a hole on that side of our stocking. So we're also going to work a single crochet 2 together over there. And what we do is we work that single crochet 2 together into the stitch before the marker and the marked stitch. So here we go. I'm to the stitch before my marker. So I will go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, go into my marked stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. And now I continue on working down my heel stitches with my single crochet. And when I get to the slip stitch that I did to join in my chain 1, so at the beginning of my round, I will join and then change colors, just like we've been doing all along. So at the end of this round, so I've joined, this is where I will change colors and chain one. But what I have done here is I now have the same number of stitches in my work as I did when I began. So because I've worked across my heel stitches, I've worked across all my stitches I left remaining, I haven't increased any stitches, I really didn't decrease, I just worked, I just filled in a gap, very similar to what I talked about doing when I tried to fill in the hole here. But now I have the same number of stitches working around as I did up here. After you finish round 1, you continue on working in the pattern for rounds 2 through 23. And essentially you're repeating what you did on the leg, or not really repeating, you're continuing on in your pattern. So just follow the color changes and change those colors when it's indicated, and you will be ready for the toe of your stocking in no time. I really hope you're having a great time. I know I am. Seeing all of your work online and all the different colors that you're using is super exciting to me. I can't wait to see this part finished on your stocking. Be sure to share with me on social media, hashtag #MarleyBird, hashtag BrianaK, or hashtag Christmas Stocking MAL. Last but not least, don't forget to add your project to Ravelry so that other people can see your beautiful stocking and maybe get some color ideas for their own. All right, I will see you in video 6. Keep going. Thanks so much for joining me on the MarleyBird YouTube channel. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit subscribe. I've put a link right over there, or you can watch a couple of the videos I've already selected for you right down there. If you want to follow me on social media, I've put my links right over there. You could have all Marley all the time. Bye guys.